You know, there's something nobody really prepares you for. Not the books, not the news, not even the well-meaning advice from friends who say, just enjoy it now, retirement. They tell you it's the golden chapter, the freedom years. But for many, it starts with a quiet discomfort, not because of age or time, but because so much of life suddenly feels uncertain. You wake up one morning, and the structure that held your world together, the work, the deadlines, the routine, it's gone. And now the questions echo a little louder. Did I save enough? Am I making the right choices? What if I run out? And it's not just about the money, is it? It's about dignity, independence, wanting to enjoy life without becoming a burden, wanting to feel secure, not anxious every time the electricity bill comes in or when the car makes a new sound you don't recognize. If you've ever felt that silent panic at 2 a.m., wondering if you've done enough, you're not alone. So today, let's gently walk through this together. Not in fear, not in shame, but in wisdom, in kindness. Because no one teaches us these things when we're young, and by the time we're older, we feel too proud or too embarrassed to ask. But here on The Age of Beauty, there is no judgment. Just honest, soulful conversation from one heart to another. Let's talk about 7 common financial mistakes many retirees make and how to avoid or gently recover from them. And along the way, we'll also talk about something even more important than numbers, your peace of mind. One of the first mistakes is underestimating how long retirement actually lasts. Most people think of it as 10 or 15 years. But in reality, many of us live well into our 80s or even 90s. That's 2 or 3 decades of life still ahead with inflation, healthcare needs, and sometimes even unexpected family support. It's not pessimistic to plan for that, it's empowering. Another common misstep is relying too heavily on Social Security or a fixed pension. These systems were designed to be safety nets, not complete financial blankets. It's important to have multiple sources, maybe a small side income, savings with flexibility, or even part-time work that brings joy, not stress. Now let me tell you a little story. There's a woman named Helen, 72, from a quiet little town in Nova Scotia. She raised 3 children, lost her husband early, and worked part-time until her arthritis made it too painful to continue. She thought her modest savings and monthly check would be enough. But as her health needs grew, so did her expenses. She found herself skipping outings with friends, saying no to travel dreams, and slowly withdrawing from the world. One afternoon, she sat in her garden and just cried. Not because of pain, but because she felt trapped by fear, by pride, and by silence. But Helen didn't stay there. She reached out to a local community center that offered free financial counseling for seniors. She learned how to safely downsize, qualify for housing support, and even start a small online business selling handmade greeting cards. She told me once, it wasn't about the money. It was about feeling like I had options again. Isn't that what we all want? Another mistake many retirees make, especially in the early years, is overspending due to the vacation mindset. After working for 30 or 40 years, you deserve a break, a cruise, a new kitchen, a generous gift for the grandkids. But without a clear long-term plan, those early splurges can create pressure later. It's not about never enjoying, it's about enjoying wisely and knowing that peace later is often worth more than pleasure now. Then there's not planning for healthcare costs. And I know no one likes to think about this, but the truth is, healthcare can quickly become the single largest expense in retirement. Dental care, hearing aids, medications not covered, it adds up. Looking into supplemental insurance, long-term care planning, or even preventative wellness can be a gift your future self will quietly thank you for. Now here's one that's tender and sometimes heartbreaking. Financially supporting adult children at the expense of your own stability. Many of us are natural caregivers, and as parents, it's painful to see your child struggle, even if that child is 45 and fully grown. But giving from an empty cup helps no one. It's okay to set healthy boundaries with love. You matter too. Your needs are real, and your comfort in this season of life is not a luxury. It's your right. You'd be surprised how many older women I've spoken to across the US, the UK, in quiet parts of British Columbia or rural Yorkshire who've quietly drained their savings trying to help a child, only to realize they were enabling, not empowering. Boundaries can be compassionate, and sometimes love means saying, I trust you to figure this out. Another area that often goes overlooked is not updating estate plans or wills. Life changes. Grandchildren are born. Relationships shift. But many retirees never revisit these essential documents. A small oversight can lead to big complications for loved ones later. It's worth sitting with someone you trust, even a legal clinic at your local library, and reviewing everything. And finally, and this may be the most emotional one, ignoring the emotional side of money. Shame, guilt, regret. So many retirees carry these quietly. I should have saved more. I should have known better. I made so many mistakes. But please hear this with your heart. You did your best with the knowledge, energy, and support you had at the time. And it's never too late to learn something new, make a gentle shift, or ask for help. You are not behind. You are not a burden. You are a human being in a new chapter of your story, and that chapter deserves peace, dignity, and a little bit of joy, too. There's one more story I want to share with you about a couple named Thomas and Irene from Manchester. Married 52 years. They'd always lived modestly, rarely took vacations. But as Thomas's health declined, they realized they'd never used the travel fund they'd quietly saved all their lives. So Irene booked a trip, just 1 week by the sea. I remember her telling me, it wasn't about the view, it was sitting beside the man I loved, hearing the waves, and realizing we were worth the splurge. That week didn't bankrupt them. In fact, it gave them something priceless, a memory that made every other penny spent feel more worthwhile. So here's what I want to leave you with. This stage of life isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about being present, wise, gentle with yourself, willing to learn, and just as willing to forgive yourself for what you didn't know. If you've made some of these financial mistakes, you are not alone, and you are not broken. You're simply human. And there is still time to make this chapter one of peace, connection, and quiet courage. If this video spoke to something in your heart, if you saw yourself in any of these moments, I want to invite you to be part of our family here at the Age of Beauty. We talk about the real stuff: aging, money, love, regrets, joy, rediscovery. We hold space for your story, and we believe you're still growing, still shining, still beautiful right now. So take a deep breath. Leave a comment if you'd like to share your story or ask a question. And if this gave you even a little hope, please like, share with someone who may need to hear it, and subscribe to the Age of Beauty. Because the truth is, we're never too old to bloom. And you, dear heart, you're still blooming.